Chapter 17, Saturday, March 17th, money saved $148.01. Dog walking went pretty well. With no school on Saturday, I had time for a little homework too. Or I would have had time for a little homework if I hadn't fallen asleep. But I wasn't late for any appointments, at least. True, dogs didn't actually walk in the direction I wanted them to, but only one dog peed on someone, so that wasn't so bad. Things were definitely looking up. Back home, Mom called an after-dinner meeting. Lexi and I cleared the dishes. "How's it going?" Lexi asked me. We waited at the kitchen table while Mom finished putting the leftovers in the refrigerator. "Awesomely great," I boasted. Lexi nodded. "Me too, I guess." But she didn't sound very convincing. "I just wish I had more time. I just wish the contest wasn't so short. But it's going by so quickly. I barely have time for anything." "Yeah," I agreed, thinking of soccer and my schoolwork and how I didn't have time for either. "It'll be easier once the month is over." "I hope so. It's like a school report. You think you have so much time to write it, and then all of a sudden it's 2 weeks later and the report is due." I nodded. "Yeah, or when you're supposed to read a book and instead read comic books, and then the book report is due and you haven't even started it yet." Lexi frowned. "I've never done that." "Oh, right. Figures." "But I know what you mean," she added quickly. Mom closed the fridge. Lexi threw me a smile. "Good luck." "You too." I returned her smile but caught myself and changed it to a sneer. I wouldn't give little Miss Perfect the satisfaction of a smile. This was not the time to start getting all mushy. Not now. Mom joined us. She looked at Lexi and then at me. "So?" she asked, and took a deep breath. "How's the contest going?" "Great," Lexi and I answered at the same time. "Are you keeping up with school?" "I am," Lexi and I said together. "Otto, is that true?" Mom asked, slitting her eyes and staring at me as if trying to read my mind. "You're all caught up on homework?" "Almost." I thought of the stack of homework I hadn't started. I knew my math worksheets were sloppy and half wrong. I had turned in my book report late, and I had only read half the book. Not that I would tell my mom any of that. Mom nodded, apparently satisfied. "I'm proud of you, Otto. You're being really responsible." I forced a broad smile, but it felt as fake as a movie set. "Just call me the new responsible Otto." "I'd be even more impressed if you put your shoes and jacket away," Mom said, pointing to the pile in the middle of the hallway. My smile disappeared. Then Mom turned to Lexi. "You're tutoring students all day long, but when do you have time for your own assignments?" "Lots of time," she said. "I work on the bus and at lunch, and you know me, I always do great in school." Lexi shifted on her seat uncomfortably. Her jeans might have been too tight, or perhaps she was stretching the truth a little. But I didn't say anything. I was doing some serious seat shuffling of my own. "I'm not going to do much tutoring anymore anyway," Lexi said. "I have another idea, a better idea." "What idea?" I asked anxiously. I sat at the edge of my seat. I didn't like the sound of that one bit, but Lexi didn't answer. Instead, she smirked, which wasn't a good omen. "I'm glad things are going so well," said Mom. "But if your schoolwork starts to suffer, either of you, this contest is over, and we're not getting a pet, don't forget." "We know, Mom," I said. Instead, things couldn't be going better. In fact, things are perfect, almost. "The month is halfway over," said Mom. "How are you both doing on saving money? Otto, I know you had some struggles in the beginning." She didn't have to mention that great kitchen calamity or the awful apple atrocity, but I knew what she meant. "I'm not having trouble anymore," I said, and at least this part was mostly true. "Dog walking not only pays well, but it's great practice for owning a dog. You'll be really impressed by how well I can care for our dog when I win." "I'm sure Otto will be a great help in taking care of Fluffernutter," said Lexi with a chuckle. "We're getting a dog," I hissed. "A cat, baby brother." "I'm not a baby." "You'll be crying like a baby when I win." "Well, you smell like a baby who needs a diaper change, stink bomb." "That's perfume," she wailed. "Stink bomb, stink bomb." "Enough," shouted Mom, resting her head on the table and groaning. "Just remember to do your homework. And I hope you're both not working too hard. Not me, I exclaimed. But of course I was lying. We had a soccer game coming up in a couple of weeks, and I bet Malcolm was practicing that very minute. Meanwhile, my feet ached from dog walking, and I just wanted to go to bed. But if Lexi had another great idea to earn money, whatever it was, I couldn't slow down. I could play soccer and do homework and take naps in a few weeks after I had a dog, but right now I needed to win. As soon as we were done talking, I called Malcolm and told him to come over for a business meeting. Whenever I thought of Lexi's smirk, I grew more and more nervous. He was finishing dinner, but about 15 minutes later, he knocked on the door. We went up to my room. Lexi's up to something, I complained. She has a great new idea, but I don't know what it is. Then how do you know it's great? Because she smirked. We needed to earn more money, faster. And you have another horrible idea? Said Malcolm. His lack of faith in me was a bit depressing. No, I have an excellent idea. Even though the door was closed, I whispered just in case Lexi had her ear against the wall, snooping. Although when I put my ear against the wall to snoop on her, I usually can't hear very much. Lexi hates snakes, I said. When we were younger, I found a garter snake in the lawn, and Lexi just freaked. Let's fill her bed with snakes. I imagined Lexi turning back her covers and finding a dozen pythons wiggling around in there. I laughed out loud and rubbed my hands together. Said Malcolm, why do you want to put snakes in her bed? Because Lexi hates them. But how will that help you earn more money? How do I know? I don't care. I just like the idea of putting snakes in her bed. Do I need another reason? There was a pause before Malcolm spoke again. Where would we find snakes? I don't know. I admit that was a problem. It would take days to capture enough of them to fill Lexi's bed, and I didn't have a time to waste. Still, it was a good plan. Maybe someday. Just look out for reptiles, okay? Malcolm rolled his eyes and shrugged. I took the money I had earned that day out of my pocket and put it on my bed. Thanks to Malcolm, I had earned $30 on the nose, minus $6 for Malcolm, plus $4 in tips. Malcolm said I didn't have to share the tips, which was good because doing all the math was hard enough without trying to figure out his share of that too. Thank you, he said, stuffing the money in his pocket. I removed a shoebox filled with my secret money stash from the back of my closet. I shook it. Loose change jumped and clinked together. I won't lose this war, I vowed. I wadded up my new bills and threw them in. Malcolm peeked inside. That's all the money you have? He said. This is a lot, I insisted, but Malcolm didn't seem impressed. Don't blame me. You're my accountant. You're supposed to make me rich. Malcolm grabbed some of my bills and began straightening them, and then piling them into neat stacks. You should open a bank account. Then you could earn interest and make even more money. Anything that made me more money sounded good to me. How much more? Can I double or triple what I have in 2 weeks? Well, let's figure you earn 1% annually, compounded monthly. You might make about 7 cents. I grabbed the bills from Malcolm's hand, scrunched them into balls, and threw them back in the box. Straightening my bills had made my stash look even wimpier. 7 cents? No thanks. And I like my current money-keeping system. Thank you. Scrunching up wads of money and keeping them in a shoebox is not much of a system, scoffed Malcolm. Maybe not, but it's my system, thank you, and money is worth the same no matter what shape it's in. As long as it was not ripped in half. Still, I didn't want to think about how much more I still had to earn. Honestly, do you think we'll make it to $500? I bit my lip. Malcolm hunched his shoulders. I don't know. It'll be close. It's not impossible. Not impossible? I punched my pillow. That's not good enough. You should see how superior Lexi acts around me. I have to win. I slammed my fist on my bed, but I missed and partially hit the bed frame. It really hurt. I stuck my knuckle in my mouth. My tongue helped it feel better. We need to do something, I said, after my finger stopped throbbing. My mind bubbled with possibilities. We always have the snakes in bed thing. Forget the snakes. Malcolm leaned back on my bed. Starting business takes time. I don't have time, I reminded him. I need to up my game, make my dog empire grow with leaps and bounds. My brain was churning. I could break the world record for the most jelly beans eaten in one day, and then when I'm on TV, I could tell everyone about my dog business. I love jelly beans mostly. I mean, I don't love every flavor like black licorice. No one likes black licorice. But you have to eat those too if you're going to break a jelly bean eating record, which is why breaking that record is so impressive. Malcolm just shook his head and said I needed to give it some thought. After he left, I paced my room thinking. I paced for so long that when I went to bed, my legs felt like they were still thromping back and forth across the floor. I sat up, opened my shoebox, and wadded my bills into tighter wads. It made me feel a little better. Our next chapter is chapter 18, Sunday, March 18th. Money saved, $176.01.